During the last days of the war in Europe, a 13th century castle sitting near the Austria-Germany border became the site of one of the strangest battles of World War II. In the 7 days between the death of Adolf Hitler and the surrender of the Nazi government, chaos reigned supreme in Germany. Roving bands of SS units were attacking resistance fighters, civilians, and executing prisoners of war. At Castle Itter, several prominent French leaders, along with other prisoners from Eastern Europe, were under severe threat. Abandoned by the guards, the prisoners took control of the castle. As the Americans were alerted to the situation, the prisoners received the unlikely assistance of an SS officer named Kurt Siegfried Schrader. He was joined by a ragtag group of Wehrmacht soldiers under the command of Josef Gengel. A small American contingent under Lieutenant Jack Lee Jr. joined the group and they proceeded to the castle. The relief force consisted of 10 Americans, a small group of Wehrmacht soldiers, and a single tank, an M4A3E8 known as the Besotten Jenny. A larger force that was part of the 142nd Infantry Regiment was on the way, but an SS contingent was already in the woods surrounding the castle. To defend the castle, the Besotten Jenny was placed at the gatehouse. The French prisoners were ordered into the cellar, and the defenders took up positions inside the castle walls. At 4 a.m. local time on May 5, 1945, the SS Waffen troops began their assault with an artillery barrage. The SS forces consisted of roughly 100 to 150 soldiers armed with 4 pieces of artillery, including an 88mm cannon. They started to bombard the defenders. As artillery and machine guns fired on the castle, 4 SS soldiers tried to scale the south wall, but they were repelled by an American soldier, William Sutton, firing his M1 Garand. 2 hours later, a Wehrmacht rifleman held off more SS troops who were also pressing in from the south. With the pressure of the attack increasing, one of the Wehrmacht defenders panicked and fled the castle. This is when the bulk of the SS forces arrived along the main road. By 9 a.m., 3 men, including a 17-year-old Austrian resistance fighter, Hans Waddel, entered the castle to join the defenders. An hour later, the main assault on the castle began as machine gun and rifle fire opened up from the woods. An anti-tank round knocked out the Besotten Jenny. With the situation growing more desperate, the French prisoners left the cellar and joined the defense of the castle. At the same time, Josef Gengel was killed by an SS sniper. Over the next few hours, the fighting was fierce as the fire intensified from the woods. Around 2 p.m., one of the defenders escaped and made his way toward the approaching American forces. By 4 p.m., a squad of SS soldiers pressed close to the castle. One of them leveled a Panzerfaust at the castle gate. But before he could pull the trigger, elements of the 142nd Infantry Regiment arrived. The SS forces fled into the woods. The defenders were saved. As the regiment entered the castle, Lieutenant Jack Lee asked them, "What kept you?" Although a relatively small battle, the fighting around Castle Itter was the first and only time that American and German soldiers fought together against other German soldiers. Castle Itter by DVG allows you to recreate this most unusual battle in board game form, providing insight into the difficulties, heroism, and sacrifice displayed by the defenders of the castle during the final days of the war in Europe.